Welcome back. The parliamentary representative for Gros-Islet is outlining his long-term vision for the constituency. Leonard Montoute says that his 25-year plan will outlive whatever party is in power and looks at the holistic development of the constituency.
We're looking at the credit union that will be community-oriented, community-based. Let us not forget, in a credit union, the membership have ownership of that credit union. They own shares, and they determine the policies. So we're looking at savings, we're looking at providing financing for entrepreneurial purposes, and we're looking at reinvesting of the profits. You know, and we know that the terms and conditions, the requirements of a credit union are very often more lenient than that of the commercial banks. So these are institutions we are putting in place to ensure that we provide facilitating the future that we want to build for Gros-Islet.
There will also be a focus on providing the enabling environment for businesses to grow.
The little food court that we just established opposite the Bank of St. Lucia near the Gros-Islet Fire Station. Now, small vendors actually have a home in an aesthetically pleasing environment that is inviting, not just pleasant for them, but inviting to their patrons.
That's right.
These are the kinds of, you know, actions we take in the interest of just across the board, even small business people. Okay, and so, I mean, I spoke of what we're going to do in healthcare. We're going to continue extending the hours of service and improving the services provided at the Gros-Islet Polyclinic, and we're going to improve the Grand Riviere Health Center to put it on par with what we have done in Moshi. In the area of social and community development, we are going to have a we have started a land rationalization program, and let me just state that those lands are going at very concessionary rates, $2 and $3 a square foot. Now you tell me, if you know anything about land in the north, you cannot get swamped in the north at that rate.
That was the MP for Gros-Islet, Leonard Montoute. One of the Caribbean countries with the best track record for keeping COVID-19 cases low has now been placed under a 2-week stay-at-home order. St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris says the new restriction has become necessary because of a spike in cases.
Since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, St. Kitts and Nevis has recorded only 155 cases of the virus, but 111 of them have occurred in just the past few weeks. The government says this has made it deeply concerned, and so it has introduced new tough measures to curb the spread.
After a thorough evaluation of the situation on the ground, the Cabinet has agreed that we needed to restrict the movement of people to contain the movement of the virus. We will therefore place the country under lockdown as of Saturday the 12th June from 6 p.m. for 14 days to Saturday the 26th June in the first instance. Under this lockdown, the Cabinet has determined that people should stay at home over the next 2 weeks. There shall be a curfew daily from 6 p.m. to 5 a.m.
St. Kitts and Nevis currently has 94 active cases, with 4 hospitalized and 1 being very ill. In the meantime, health authorities say 65% of the population has received the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccination and 29% their second dose.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines continues to work through the United Nations system to raise global funding for the recovery effort from the recent La Soufre eruptions.
The United Nations agencies last week hosted a donor roundtable discussion, at which they provided an update on the international response to their US $29.2 million UN funding appeal to help St. Vincent and the Grenadines transition towards recovery from La Soufre's recent explosive eruptions. The roundtable was told that to date, the UN appeal has raised US $9.1 million, or 31% of the target, leaving an outstanding deficit of $20 million. A statement from the event said representatives of the governments of Canada, Japan, the United Kingdoms, and the Republic of Colombia, as well as the European Union, World Bank, and the Caribbean Development Bank, pledged continued support. This will be done through targeted programming and additional grant or loan funding to support medium to long-term recovery, emergency liquidity, and other needs. St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, who led the country's delegation to the roundtable, told the UN agencies that 2 months after the explosive eruptions, people are still suffering. He said most of the residents of the orange zone have returned home, but most people from the red zone are still evacuated. He cited food, physical infrastructure, support for agriculture, rebuilding and reallocation of homes, and the restoration of water, electricity, and schools as key priorities.
Stay with us. The latest weather forecast is coming up next.